Okay, so to make the gallery door, we want to create a shape that symbolizes the wall, basically. So I'm going to go to a front view here, and then find the gallery entrance, which is right here. So I'm going to draw a rectangle from this point here down to that point there. Click on it with curve, create a new layer, and call this window. Right click on it and change object layer. I'm going to change the color to something blue. No, let's do whatever color. Sea green. How about that? Okay. All right, and then I'm going to isolate it. So I have this selected, and that's how come I can do everything all in one step. There we go. Actually, let me bring it back real quick. Go to perspective real quick. Yeah, just as I thought. So by default, it grabbed this front object. So now I want to move this. Move from here to there. Okay. And then I'm going to actually sub-object select this and move this inward 10 inches. So if I control shift and click on this, it gives me this object selected by itself, and then I can click on this and go -10. Okay. And then I'm going to extrude this direction 10. So my window now is perfectly in line with the walls. Okay, so now if I click on this and isolate it, and then I'm going to hide this. Oops, undo. I'll just draw another rectangle from a front view to there. Click on it, grab the extrusion, hide it. Okay, so now we've got a curve that perfectly outlines our shape. So I'm going to do an 8-foot by 8-foot opening for the window here. That will be for the two doors. And then I'm going to do the windows around. Okay, so 8-foot by 8-foot. So I'll draw a rectangle, come from the center line here, and start to draw. And I'm going to do 4-foot, enter, 8-foot, enter. And then copy from this point to this point, enter. Those are our doors. And then I'm going to do I'm going to explode these so that they're all just lines and no longer rectangles. If I click on them, and they're all by themselves. And then I'm going to offset this one this direction, 4 inches, enter. 4 inches, click. 4 inches, click. Sorry, 4 inches, click. So I'm just offsetting this in 4 inches in every direction, and then I'm going to offset the bottom here this way, but I'm going to go 6 inches here. All right, so I've offset this curve 4 inches in all directions. Now I'm going to fillet it with the radius of 0. It still says radius 0 up there, so I'm fine. So I can click here, enter again, brings up same command, and just keep repeating all the way around. Okay, so that's my 2 doors. Now I've got some glass panels on the side that are about 2 feet all the way divided here. So I'm going to draw a line from here to here, a line from here to here, and then I'm going to offset those. Actually, no, I'm not going to offset. I'm going to draw a line straight down the middle here to there. Go from my midpoint here to the wall here, and then I'm going to draw a line from here to here, so I've got a midpoint from here to here. And do the same down here, and find my midpoint again. Okay. Now I'm going to create my windows by offsetting from here this direction, but this time I'm going to go 3 inches. And click. Go from the top 3 inches again, and from the bottom I don't want that whole thing. Actually, I do. It's fine, because I'm going to mirror it onto the other side. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do another offset. This time I'm going to go 1.5 because I'm going to do it in 2 directions. So I'm just offsetting. Okay, and then I'm going to delete this, delete that, delete this, and then I'm going to fillet this line to this line. And yes, it did erase the rest of that, so we'll just draw it again. Perpendicular, fillet, enter, this line to this line. Okay. Fillet this one to this one, and this one to this one. Fillet this one to this one, redraw it, and then fillet this one to this one to this one. Draw the line again, perpendicular, fillet again, and then just fillet these out. Get rid of our center line. All of those lines. And then I'm going to delete that whole thing and draw a line a little bit, and then connect these ones. And then fillet this to this. Okay, so next step is I want to Control-C, copy this from left to right, grab that, copy, and I'm going to go from here up to right there, and then I'm going to mirror this over to the other side after well, first let me do this. So let me offset. Got to do it twice because, whoops, wrong way. Offset 3 inches, bring this up that way. And then fillet this to this. Fillet this to this. fillet this to that. Fillet this to that. Delete this extra line. Okay. Now I'm going to mirror this over to the other side because it's the same on both sides. So MI for mirror. Find my midpoint right there. Draw straight down. Now it's on both sides. Then I'm going to draw a line straight across here. Draw a line straight up here. And then offset 3 inches up. And offset again 1.5. Enter. Go this way. Go this way. So we're basically making the outline of the windows. Fillet. Clean up a little bit. Delete that one. And trim. Cutting blades. Cut there. Okay, so that's going to be our window shapes. All right, this next step, what we're going to do is we're going to create the glass and the frames. The frames on the door, there's another frame that kind of bisects it. There's more frames than what we're going to be doing. We're going to kind of simplify it, but it'll still look good in the program. So you can get into as much detail as you want. Okay, so let's do this now. Let's go ahead and use this as kind of a template to make our windows with our glass and everything we want here. So I'm going to make a new layer here and call this layer glass. Move it down. And then I'm going to make that layer active and draw rectangles to all of the glass planes. Oops, wait, I'm seeing something funky here. So let me fix these doors real quick. So if I draw a line from here to here, there should also be what we call a mullion right there that separates the doors. So click here. Command Shift click. Click. Move this down 4 inches. Oops. Now -8. All right, so let's then just delete this and then mirror it over. Just notice that we didn't have a door frame at the top here, so that's fine. Okay, so next what we're going to do, I'm going to just delete that and switch my layers real quick just so I can draw a different color there. Okay, switch back to glass. Here we go. So draw a rectangle for the door, the overall door. And I'm on that glass layer. Go from over here, because I want this whole thing to be made out of rectangles. So trace So I'm just tracing these from a front view with the rectangle on. All right, and now right click on this and go to select objects. And then I can kind of see them highlighted to see that I got everything. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make it 3D. So I'm going to go to the down arrow here and change my view to perspective. Set view, perspective. And then I'm going to go ahead and create a wall thickness and then subtract out the glass panes. I've already made one, I'm sure, but I'm just going to make it again, and then we'll erase the curves and the overlapping ones later. So if I grab this section here, this curve, which is just a rectangle around the whole bounds of it, and extrude it 10 inches. That's the wall thickness. And then for each one of these, you can shift, click, and add to the selection. Let me change the view here to shaded so you can see a little better. Well, I guess you can see worse now. Let me just hide this, and we'll extrude all of these. Minus extrude all of the glass panels. So shift click to grab all the glass panels. Just these rectangles we just made. And then type extrude curve, enter. Make it go back in space. So you've got those blocks. I just went pretty far back. It didn't really matter. Now I can go ahead and extrude this, larger curve, back 10 inches, and then Boolean difference out each one of these. So I can go Boolean difference, just type it or find it on the keypad here or on the toolbar, select the wall, and then select each one of these separately. So I selected, let me do that again. Boolean difference, select the wall, enter. Click all of the ones you want to remove, enter. My bad, let's undo that. Let's go ahead and just move these using the gumball through the wall. I guess it was not all the way protruding through both sides. So let's do that again. Boolean difference. Click on this, enter, click on these individual pieces, enter. Okay, now that gives you the openings there. And then we are missing the one opening for the doors here. So I'm going to select left to right and we can see these. So I'm going to extrude this curve out just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually explode this. Explode it so it's in little pieces. This extrusion, explode. And then you've got individual surfaces here. You can select each one of the surfaces, join them back together by typing join or the puzzle pieces. And then I'm going to select this, move this through here. And then I'm going to split this frame out. So type split, click on the frame, enter, click on the extrusion, enter. And we can see now that that is separate. So I can get rid of all of these extrusions that we don't need anymore. Oops. And then what I want to do is I'm going to move this way 24 inches just to get it out to look at it, and we can see it's still open on the sides here. So now I'm going to cap it. It didn't work. So I'm going to draw surfaces just to close this out. So surface from points right there. Whoops. Endpoint. Endpoint. Again, we're using the snaps to make sure this is all working properly. If you don't use the snaps, it won't work. Endpoint. 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 And then we're going to go from here to there, down to the bottom. We're just filling in the openings. Okay. Now we're going to select this whole thing and then join it together. And we just turn this into a solid object. If they didn't join together, that means you missed the snap points. All right, but we can also see we've got the same problem in here. This is open. You see the section there? So we've got to come through and close that off too. So this point to this point, this point to that point, this point to this point, that point to that point, and then one more here. All right, and then we've got this surface right here that we don't need. So I just click on it and delete it. If yours was similar to mine, it should have been easy to delete. If not, you might have to split it by drawing a couple of cutting lines, similar to what we just did with the door to get it to separate out. Okay, so this is all one piece. And yeah, you can split it down the middle here just to make it even a little bit more authentic. Let's do that. So draw a line down the middle here. And then I'm going to extrude that curve all the way through. And then I'm actually just going to make it a little thicker by extruding the surface. And I'm going to do that at 0.25 for 1/4 of an inch thick. And then I'm going to move it back 1/8 of an inch, just 1/2 of a 1/4 of an inch, so it's right in that middle point. So I'm going to hit -1/8, enter. Slight thing, but you know, details. So now let's do this Boolean difference. Click on this object, enter, and click on this object, enter. And then delete that extra section there. Okay, so now we should have those doors separate. Okay, so next step is to make them a little bit thinner. But actually, let's wait and hold off on that. Let's do that after we finish our glass up. So let me just move them back into position. So we moved them out 24. So now we're going to use this blue little arrow here and go -24 to move them back. All right, so let's finish up by doing the glass. All right, so we should still have those curves left from before. So I should be able to just go from left to right and select just those curves. That looks good. Extrude them. And I'm going to go 10 inches. I know it's the same. Oh, they're recessed back a little bit. Let me do this. Since they're all recessed back at that same level, let's just fix them all at once. So go from left to right, select all those curves. Let me do this first. Go from left to right here, select the whole thing, and then go join. Okay, that's better. I had missed joining a couple of sections in there, but now they're joined. All right, so let's go ahead and select all of our line work from the side, right there. And then go move, M-O-V-E, enter. Click on the point you want to move from, and click on the point you want to move to. So they should now be all on the surface there. All right, so let's go ahead and extrude all those now. Select all this. And then I'm going to go from here to here to select that one, from here to here to select that one. Try to get them all. And then shift click. And then extrude curve. And do 0.25. Enter. Okay, let me select these two. Move them. Okay, so those are all of our glass panes. Now we want to just move those into the middle of the window frame. So we can do that by doing this -5. because we know the thickness of our window frames are 10 inches still. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is put it all together. So we've got these doors as well that are a little too thick, so we're going to use our scale tool right here, the blue line, and make them thinner. We've got this section right here, which is for our ceiling. I'm going to extrude that the 10 inches that's above the glass in the gallery. Okay, and that should be it for getting that dialed in. The next thing to do would be to make sure everything is on its right layer. So if you haven't created layers yet, create a layer for glass, which is what we're drawing on right now. Create a layer for frames, which I'm going to move these onto right now. So click on Polysurface, click on this frame and that frame. And then we're going to move them by going to Change Object Layer to the Frame layer. Okay. Now I'm going to right click on my light bulb to bring everything back. And we can see that, well, I've already done it, but let me just undo it real quick. Boolean difference. Click on this, enter. Okay, so we should have something like that. I've already got this extrusion here, which I no longer need, so I'm going to get rid of that. I've actually got a lot of them, so I think there's another one there. I'll delete that. We just made a lot of them for some reason. So there we go. And next step, I can just take that curve that is still there and extrude it back 10 inches and then Boolean union these two together. That's how I make the top wall. And we've got the glass for the gallery. If you want, you can also click on this portion here and use the scale tool to pull this in a little bit. And then we can go select, edit, select objects, curves, and then delete to get rid of all of the curves there. And that should do it for the window.